This episode was jam-packed with crazy. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on episode 5 of Swamp Thing, and oh my god, oh my god. Were we just given a jam-packed of stuff handed to us all in one fell swoop? So many information just right off the bat in this episode. From start to finish, I could not get my eyes off that screen there. It was insane, guys. The Swamp Thing just went to a went to an even bigger level of crazy dark horrorness, and man, the haunted spirits in this episode, whoa, I don't even know what to say. Let's just get into this, guys, seriously. So, what we had off first was Maria talking with her husband Avery, who was somewhere else that Maria didn't know. But while that was going on, we eventually see that Maria goes over to see Susan, and it turns out that after seeing Susan and then finding her disappeared, next thing you know, she goes to a bathroom and she finds Shauna and her dead daughter, the best friend of Abby. Shauna ended up... Yes, Shonda, her ghost spirit. I said in a few episodes back that her spirit is now haunting Maria, and while yeah, it was haunting her, but whoa, was it doing even worse? It turns out that she possessed that little girl Susie, and if that's not bad enough, she was torturing. She was just torturing not just her mother, Maria, but she also got Abby involved in this as well. With taking over the spirit of Susie, Shauna called in Abby, and Maria, of course, as y'all all know, Maria, she hates Abby because she blames Abby for her death, and whoa. All I can say is, though, when she came in and then she started seeing how Susie was possessed by a ghost, or so she didn't believe at first, but she was still getting some strange weirdness going on around. She even went downstairs to blame Maria, was thinking Maria was setting her up and everything. Well, whether or not she did or anything, one thing was for certain is that Maria did know that Shauna had taken over Susie's body. And yeah, first off, Shauna was mad that Maria replaced her with Susie. And truthfully, I'm sure we would all know that if that was the best friend of Abby, and because they were just kids and stuff, you would think that no, that wouldn't happen. But one thing you gotta sometimes know about ghosts and spirits is that sometimes when they pass on, sometimes when they come back to life, they can have a dark spirit in them, a spirit that could blame them or feel like people are moving on when they think that's a bad thing, so they'll come back and they'll want revenge or sometimes they're fearful of the dead spot they're in, and they want someone to be with them. And that's what happened with Shauna here. She was trying to get Maria to go to the swamp with her, so she wouldn't have to be alone. In other words, it's almost like she was trying to kill her own mother. If that's not crazy enough, though, that fortune teller, I'm sorry I can't remember that woman's name. I hope to try to remember it sometime soon. We learn a bit about her, and we learn a bit about Abby's connection with her too. It turns out now Abby, she was adopted into the Sutherland family. But what we didn't know, but still, even though that was true, what it turns out though is that like her real mother had died, and she blames that fortune teller's fault. The fortune teller said she didn't mean for it to happen. She was trying to help, but while she was trying to help, there was just one problem, and whatever she did, in the end, it ended up killing Abby's real mother, and in the end, this actually gave us a clue as to why Abby became a doctor. It's because of her mother, because she didn't have an actual doctor. Instead, her mother went to her for fortune teller, and Abby thinks that was a mistake because she blames that fortune teller, similar to how Maria blames Abby for Shauna's death. Luckily, though, in the end, Abby was able to get there in time and save Maria. Not before a little attempt at murder from Maria's part, but she wasn't herself. She was just like under the dark spirit of Abby's control, and that darkness that's sometimes, guys, that darkness that is in people's hearts, sometimes it can engulf even so big that it makes the person lose control of what they're doing. Like, they're doing this, but the real side of them, the side of them that doesn't want to do this, doesn't notice it until it might be too late. But luckily, Abby was able to break through it and everything. Or was that the no? I'm thinking on something else. She was able to break through it and able to get away, while Shauna came out of the water and tried to take Maria with her. And it looked like Maria was gonna be like a repeat of what happened to Shauna, but instead Swamp Thing showed up just in time, and it was through. And also Swamp Thing, well, he's starting to better learn how to use his powers, all thanks to a little encounter with a guy by the name of Phantom Stranger. Now, I don't know too much about this guy. I know he's from the Vertigo comics, but I haven't really seen him much in other parts of comics. But what I can see here is that this Phantom Stranger guy is just like, whoa, he is just crazy awesome here. The way he just showed up out of nowhere, accepting of Swamp Thing, and then teaching him how to use his powers. It's almost like he has a connection in the swamp too. But since he's known as Phantom Stranger, no doubt he's able to understand the strain, and that's what it was able to make him help out Swamp Thing and better learning his powers, because he was able to help Swamp Thing learn through the trees. Since the trees live for so long, they have many memories of things that go on in the swamp. So by Swamp Thing ended up touching them, that he saw the memory of Abby, and it was there that we got a clear answer as to what happened in that incident with her and Shauna. Now, I said that even if it may be true that Abby had killed Shauna, it was actually an accident. And yeah, I wasn't far off, but the truth was, Abby didn't kill Shauna. It was an accident, but an accident that was so unexplainable, so unbelievable, that Abby shut that part of her memory out. And some would probably wonder, why would she forget that part? Well, sometimes it's a part they want to forget because it was something that was unexplainable, and it's better that they feel like they're the ones who did it to keep their minds from going insane, or for people thinking they're insane. And yes, but it really turns out that while Abby jokingly pushed Shauna off the water into the swamp, and Shauna ended up playing like she had died, but really didn't. She just wanted to do that to get Abby in the water, because Shauna was more risk-taking than Abby back when they were kids. And when Abby finally did get in the water, Shauna showed herself, and she just tried to make her stay in the water for a bit longer. And then that's where it came to, out of the nowhere unexplainable, something happened. Something grabbed Shauna and took her to the water. Now, you would think that was probably a gator, but oh no, that was no gator, but not by a long shot. We don't know what it was. All we know is it was something. That means there is something out there in that swamp. And I can't really believe for a minute that the swamp itself went and took Shauna. And even if it did, and if it did do it, my guess it's only because of Avery Sutherland, which, by the way, we see more of his despicableness, and props to that actor. He really kills it with it, because I just continue to hate this guy more and more, that Sutherland guy. Oh man, I really can't wait for that guy to be brought down. But go ahead, and speaking of Avery Sutherland, so I talked to you guys about how Maria was talking with her husband, and while he was somewhere else, it turns out he was at the sheriff's house, and they slept together. Why am I not surprised there? Well, because we had already got a hint of it when when the sheriff showed up at his house. So yes, and even worse though, we're also seeing an ugly side from the sheriff. it couldn't help me thinking she's got an ugly side to her herself, and that ugly side of her wants to. Or maybe let's put it this way: she doesn't know specifically everything Sutherland's up to, but she probably would believe he's connected. But since she has feelings for him, maybe she's trying to protect him. But I highly doubt that. The reason I say that is because while she in the end attempted, not attempted murder, but she did murder somebody. While we do know it was in the defense because someone was threatening her son, even still though, that was way overboard, and I do mean way overboard. So I can kind of see why her and Avery have this thing for each other, because they both have a very ugly side to each other. Because here's Avery in this episode, not only now Liz, she doesn't like Avery. She knows there's some dirt on him, and he's trying to make sure nobody has that dirt on him. He goes to Liz and her father's bar, and he's carving off on a turtle while Liz's father shows up and making some tomato soup, only because he's making out a threat to him. And like Liz and her father see right through that guy, knowing he's trying to threaten him, say that you better stay away before you end up being the next one I kill. But no, Liz showed really how bad she is. I already said it straight up. I already acknowledged it, but it really showed even more so in this episode when she not only just stood up to Avery, no matter what he may be capable of, and she was saying, "You think you're gonna threaten my dad and I'm gonna be quiet? You can forget that." And I was just like, "You go, girl, go." That's all I gotta say. And yes, even her father isn't afraid of that guy. Whoa. Because what really showed again was that at the end of this episode, Avery had sent some people en masse to threaten Liz, but Liz showed great courage. She only did that. She fought some of these guys off, especially when that guy Daniel, who runs a video store, the guy who's known as the Blue Devil, which we got to see a little hint of when he tried to leave the town, but he couldn't. In the end, blue flames burned his arm, and we got to see the Blue Devil costume he wore. It seems that Blue Devil, a spirit's possessing it, and is coming after that guy Daniel. If that's not, but in either case, he showed up to try to help Liz, but no, he didn't really do so well. But Liz was able to beat up those guys in the mask and really give it to him. But unfortunately, I think that also caused Daniel to die, but we're not certain for certain. But if he is, I think we now know how the Blue Devil's going to come into being. And with all that said, though, one more other thing I forgot to mention, though, is that while Abby did in the end rescue Maria, and when Maria was in the hospital, Avery was going to go see her, but he was blocked by that doctor who's interested in plants and trying to save his daughter. I forgot the guy. Oh, wait, Woodoo. I hope I said that name right. Yeah, Woodoo. It turns out that plant that Abby had been studying, he was showing more and more interest of it, and now he knows about Swamp Thing. He doesn't physically know about him, but he knows that Swamp Thing exists out there. How does he know? He went to Alex Holland's laboratory, and he found a piece of Swamp Thing's roots in there, and then after closely studying, he found out about it, and now he's telling Avery if he can move forward with a project of trying to find him, capture him, and study him. So this is definitely going to lead into that Woodoo guy becoming whatever that plant monster he became in the DC Universe comics, and soon. I'll need to re-look in on that, because I can't remember that one off the top of my head right now. Because trust me, guys, there was just so much going on here. My head was exploding, and I mean really exploding, like crazy. I really don't know what more to say. This episode was insane. Crazy. I guess the last thing I'll talk about is that they're teasing like some love triangle going on with Swamp Thing, Abby, and Matt, because of Swamp Thing seeing Matt with Abby that time when they were dancing, and when he was comforting her with his coat while she was out of that swamp and still cold and stuff. But that's not really as important. I'm pretty sure we all know who Abby will choose in the end. But still, with all we're getting here, what more what is going to go down as we're heading in. Because here's the thing about Swamp Thing. What I actually like about it is that we don't get previews. I mean, I know that sounds strange and all, but yeah, previews give us a little hint at what might be to come. But the fact that they're not giving us previews, and then we have to look forward to the episode, and we don't know what's going to come, and then look at our reaction then. This is why I'm loving Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is amazing. All the DC Universe shows have been amazing. And man, if DC can just come on and announce some more out there, some more great shows we can look forward to, I'm sure we'll get even more subscribers. I mean, I know we got some who only care about the comic sides. Me, I care about the comics and the movies and TVs that we can get off this show. So please, DC Universe, work your way into making more of these guys. That's all I gotta say. And please find a way to get Swamp Thing back for season 2. Hashtag save Swamp Thing. Hashtag season 2 of Swamp Thing. Please give us that. But in any case, guys, that'll be all for today. I've gone on enough. And if you're enjoying my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!